Feeling friends is this concept that I came up with laying in bed one night. I have all these close friends who have these wonderful stories that can help change the world, life experiences that can help other people believe in themselves, hold tight to their dreams and make their dreams reality. On Feeling Friends, we talk about God, we talk about love, relationships. I have celebrity friends, I have non-celebrity friends. I have church members, family members. But when you watch and listen to Feeling Friends, you will learn and you will laugh. It's a community of friends helping to build each other up. So tune in to Feeling Friends every Sunday on WHCR 90.3 FM, or you can catch me on YouTube at Feeling Friends Radio. All right, I'll see you there. WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. What's up, everybody? It's me, Phil, and I'm so happy to be back live on air or pre-recorded live on air with you, my friends. I have a great friend, and we go way, way back, and I'm so proud of her. She is fighting for the people of her district, and she's fighting, I believe she's fighting for all of us. She speaks up and speaks out, and that's what we need here. So without further ado, I have my friend Whitney Toussaint. Toussaint. I messed it up. Lord have mercy. Live in the studio right now. But let's bring it in. Whitney, what's up? I tried to get it right. Whitney Toussaint.
It's okay, Phil. You get it. You did it right. You know, I married into Toussaint, so it's okay. You know, Whitney Thompson.
I was practicing that. I was trying to practice my Creole French, whatever. You know, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. You know, I'm happy and I'm proud of you too. You got a show. You came to New York. You're doing it.
You know how it is. We're from the South. And so, you know, this is a grind. And if you can make it here just a little bit, if you can just make it a little bit, you're doing really well.
Yep.
But you're fighting for the people of your district, which is Queens, correct? In the Queens area?
Yes, I am in Queens. Yep, I'm in Western Queens. So my school district covers Long Island City, Astoria, Sunnyside, Woodside, East Elmhurst, a touch of Corona, and Jackson Heights.
That's a lot. Let's get into it. Let's tell the people who you are, and then let's go into what you're doing. But let's get right into it.
Okay, so yes, Whitney Thomas Toussaint. I am originally from Northwest Georgia, but I was born in Atlanta. I'm a Grady baby, but I grew up in Northwest Georgia. Spent pretty much my whole life there. Went to Clark Atlanta. That's where Phil and I met. You know,
yes.
Shout out my HBCU, Clark Atlanta. You know, I'm a Panther. Look, find a way or make one, and culture for service. So that's why I'm out here doing what I do for the community. Lived in New York for the past almost 12 years, moved up here for promotion with my job, but I am on the Community Education Council, which is New York City's version of a school board. And I have been just fighting for our children to make sure they get the best public education that they deserve.
Absolutely. And you're doing a great job. And one of the things about you is I love the fact that you've always had a fighting spirit. I think that's why we connected with each other. I mean, let's also say she's Alpha Pi and I'm Alpha Phi. That's the most important thing we cannot forget. She's an AKA and I'm an Alpha. But you've always had this fighting spirit. And I think that is so important. Where did you find this identity in fighting for the people?
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. It's in my blood. It is in my blood. So I grew up in Cherokee County. That's in Northwest Georgia. It is a predominantly white county. My family there, I'm a descendant of the Freemans up there. So Reverend R.R. Freeman, that is my great-great uncle. He was the lead pastor at Hickory Log Baptist Church. And that is the church where in my hometown, all of the civil rights organizing happened. So he led the demonstrations, helped integrate the schools, fought for Black people to be employed in Cherokee County. My grandfather, Charlie Thomas, he was the first Black man to be employed in downtown Canton and sell clothes in a store on the square. My mother was her generation of children that she grew up with. They were the first ones to integrate the school system in Cherokee County. So just growing up hearing those stories, and sometimes they didn't really tell us everything because, you know, it was a traumatic time for them.
It was.
But I remember sitting and hearing stories in passing about the things that they did. And I would ask them questions and they would be like, well, we're doing that so you don't have to. We did that so you don't have to. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just always growing up and hearing, you got to be twice as good to get half as much, and make sure you speak up for yourself. And if you can't do it, come get me. And I've always just had that spirit. Even growing up, I remember, you know, my mom, she lost her job. So sometimes we have to move around. going to new schools and being a smart Black girl that was, kind of poor in the back of the room. I remember one time I had a teacher told me I cheated on a test because she couldn't believe I got 110. I got all the questions right in the bonus. I was a new student to her. Like, how would I do that? I had to have cheated. This woman, and I told her, I said, give me the test again. I'll take it right now. She made me take it in the hallway.
Wow.
And I got the same score on a different version.
Wow.
So like you have to learn how to advocate for yourself and fight for yourself. And that's what I did.
I think it's something where you learn from, it's in your DNA, because I'm the same way, and you have to teach your children to advocate. What do you say to people, especially young people now, this new generation, we're in New York, and you're advocating for the students? I was a teacher for like 5 years. I don't see the spirit of, and it's not everybody, they're not teaching them what our ancestors went through. So they forget. So they allow people to disrespect them. They allow people to use the N-word. You hear that a lot with different cultures in New York City, and no one speaks up. What do you say to them about learning and teaching people our age who have children to remember the spirit of our ancestors and to fight?
I say those exact things to them. I said, because look at where we are now. We are literally in an environment where people are erasing our history.
Yeah.
Telling narratives about us that are not true, saying that Black people are we like to drape ourselves in victimhood. No, we don't. We are victors. We are people who have endured. We are people who have fought not only for our rights, but paved the way for other cultures, ethnicities to come to this country and thrive. The Civil Rights Act that Martin Luther King Jr. fought for, when he was talking to those presidents, making sure that we had rights, it also included provisions that allowed Asians, Africans, and other races, ethnicities to immigrate to our country as well. We have always fought for everyone. And just to hear people say, oh, well, Black people, they're lazy. No, we're not.
Right.
We are not. We built this country for free. We are only asking for the country to fulfill the promise to our community as well.
Absolutely. And I said that recently. I'm in grad schools, for theology. I said that recently. I said, I feel, especially with this election that just happened, slapped in the face by so many people who are not from America. Me and you, we're centuries in here, centuries in. And so Black people have literally done everything. It was a slap in the face for people not to vote for Kamala Harris when this man told you that he was going to send you back to your S-hole country, and you still went in there and you voted for him. That's something that I still can't connect my brain with, and even now I can't. But I guess we have to push forward. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I would like to add to that. They are, and please don't think I'm going soft on anybody.
Absolutely.
But we all have to realize there is a certain amount of conditioning that people have heard, narratives that they cling to because they hold on to white supremacist ideals and respectability politics.
That's right.
These people were told, well, you did it the right way. We're only going after the criminals. So it allowed them to other and then also put themselves on a pedestal. So they believe that, and that is what, I did it the right way. So yeah, get rid of the people that are doing it the wrong way. They're making people like me look bad. I don't want to be associated with them. So those were the narratives that they were fed. And unfortunately, this administration, they're not going after criminals. They're going after parents taking their kids to school, men and women at their jobs, people going to their hearings for citizenship, asylum. They are grabbing them up from these courthouses. And unfortunately, I think it shattered that illusion that they had that they were only going after criminals. Right. No, they're going after anybody. And everybody. And so I think it was just one of those moments that people are being shaken out of that.
And it's almost like people need a realization too. You got to wake up. You have to wake up. And I hope this is the moment where people say, oh, it's just not the Black people. They were right. They were right with their advocacy and speaking up for us. So yeah. So thank you for pointing that out. And we'll talk more about that later. Let's jump into the meat of why you're here. You've been fighting for students, and you mentioned that ICE is now in the classrooms. Are they? I don't really think they're in New York like they are in the South as of yet. But let's talk about your advocacy for students, and why is it so important for New York City schools to have people like you fighting? Because I'll tell you right now, this is my personal opinion. This is not you. You're on the board, and I'm sure you've said some things in your area. The schools in New York kind of messed up in Harlem. The DOE schools, we need some help, and I still work with the DOE too. So they need some help. We need some refurbishing. But we saw this year that I believe they spent $7.2 billion on the migrants and left our kids out to dry. So that's just me talking, not you. Tell me, what do we need to do to help these schools?
Okay, so let me. I don't know about that $7.2 billion on migrant students, but what I am
not
going to
migrant
say,
students, but they put students out. That we'll talk about that later. That's just me. That's not her. Go ahead.
So let's talk about it, because there is a significant. They need to invest in our schools a little bit more. You're correct on the infrastructure. Right. People don't want to talk about putting a new cafeteria in a school or putting bathrooms. That's not sexy. Politicians don't get excited about fixing these bathrooms. They don't get excited about making sure that the schools actually function the way they should. Yes, there are some repairs being done, but the budget is not budgeting the way it should. I mean, unfortunately, for these things that need to be fixed in classrooms. Not only that, making sure that we have teachers that are well equipped for teaching our children. We need more special education providers, more occupational therapists in the school, more, oh Lord,
it's okay.
Me. Sorry about that.
They need you to help the school. It's fine. It's a live show.
This really is somebody calling from the school district. So these are the things, that we need. Speech therapists. And then a lot of people think speech therapy is, and I was a person that thought this too, just teaching these kids how to speak and pronounce things. Speech therapy also helps with literacy. Really? My oldest son has a decoding disorder, and I had to fight like hell to get him the speech and occupational therapy he needed. And that is what kind of got me into this role. Now, I am fortunate enough to have insurance that helps me pay for private speech and OT as well as what he gets in schools. But there are so many parents that do not have that ability. And these are the things that we need to fight for, not just the sexy things like accelerated education, sports. Yes, these are very important things, but making sure our children can read and write, literacy, just period, like phonemic awareness, special education. We have children who have autism in the schools, and we don't have enough programs for children with autism, and then children who definitely need a lot of help in school because they have disabilities. Our D75 programs, a lot of people barely talk about that district. D75 needs more investment. There are, like you said, in Harlem, in the Bronx, in Queens, there are not enough D75 programs, all over the city for these
kids.
And
D75 is special education, right?
These are children who need a lot of support in schools.
Absolutely.
Who have, smaller classrooms. These are some of these children are nonverbal. They're unable to speak, and they need more programs. These children, nonverbal autistic children, some of them who, are on the other end of the spectrum, very autistic. They're on buses for 90 minutes to 2 hours. Some of these buses don't even have bus matrons just to get them to a program that they can go to because there's not one in their area.
That's so interesting. I work with this program with one of my, I'm a director at Queensborough College with the program called NYC Men Teach. And we help District 75 now help get paras. So paras are so important in the school. So when we talk about District 75, that is a very important aspect in helping. There's so many things that we don't think about. And it's so many people here. What I learned in the schools is that a lot of people are first generation. So they don't know how to navigate this Department of Education, this NYC, which is the largest school district. And it's a lot. It's a lot to take hold of, wouldn't you say? Or just to even grasp.
Definitely. And I didn't grow up very affluent. I can say now that I have been afforded just a privilege being able, I took off work today to talk to you right now.
Thank you.
Whereas, when I was growing up, my mother couldn't do that. She couldn't take off work. She couldn't go to these meetings. We have parents that are working 2, 3, 4 jobs.
Yeah.
They don't have time to go to meetings during the day or take meetings and go talk to the principal. They expect my child is in school. The principal knows what's best.
Yeah.
They're doing the best they can. I'm doing the best they can. And they're just trying to navigate this system. Don't, like, if they have a situation where they do have to advocate for their child to get special education services, or let's take it to the other thing. Like if their child, they're accelerated learner and they need more challenge. Like it's very hard for people to advocate for their children if they don't have A, the time, B, the means, and C, the knowledge on who to talk to about where.
Right.
Let's not even get
language
services.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like we have so many parents in my district, English is not their first language.
Right. Yeah. And your Queens is very diverse. It's probably one of the most diverse places in the world. I mean, you go from one block to one block. It changes, like, So what do we do with these parents that say, hey, I want to give my kid the support that they need, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. The schools are acting crazy. The principal's acting crazy. What do we do? Do they call you?
I try to tell as many people as they can. You could call me. We'll figure it out together. Like people call you just see, they call my phone, absolutely. They email me. So do the other members on my community education council. We try to talk to as many parents as we can. We invite them to come to our meetings. We hold hybrid meetings. So our meetings are not in person because we do have a lot of families who have mixed status households, and the times that we're in, they might not feel comfortable coming to events where there's going to be crowds of people because what ICE is doing. So we have virtual events. We try to get the parents to come. Our principals do a lot of engagement. Parent coordinators try to reach out. But again, we are still working with people who have numerous jobs that let them do things during the day. So we try to have things at night. The schools try to do the same thing as well. I just wish that at large, the system would do a little bit more to engage our parents, maybe on the weekend, try to make things easier for people to get to, have things that are easier for people to navigate. Because to me, it was very hard for me to plug in, but now that I've plugged in and I know where to kind of find things, it's a little easier for me. But there are so many parents that need this onboarding, and unfortunately, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that, and it's, I believe it might be underfunded too. We need more money.
Definitely, it's underfunded.
It's way underfunded. We need more money, and we could talk about that. What do we do now when we get our new mayor? Do we advocate and say, hey, mayor, we need to put more money into the schools. We need to focus on it. Is that what we should do? Definitely.
It's long overdue. And what we need to stop doing, everybody in the city needs to stop doing, is falling for that talking point. And I got my numbers right here. Yes. Falling for this talking point that literally says, and I hate it because they always talk about, the budget, we spend so much on these kids, the talk like it's $40,000 a kid. That's not true. The average is $24,000 a kid. And
per kid?
That's the average.
Okay.
But there's a talking point out there. It's like, it's 30 to 40,000 a kid. We're spending a kid because the budget is it's $41 billion. And so they separate it by the kids. That's not, the $41 billion includes pension and benefits for the teachers. That doesn't go toward instruction. It includes debt payments. The school, when they pay for these buildings that they're building, that's included in that $41 billion. So it's not $40,000 a kid. Instruction of this $41 billion budget, K to 12 schools and instruction, what paying our teachers, what's going into the classroom. And that's only $16 billion. That's $16 billion. What are we doing for outreach, like you said, to make sure we can do the community engagement? Because right now, the DOE did roll out a program called Family Connectors. It's a program where parents can learn how to assist other parents navigate the Department of Education. I'm on the school board. I don't get paid for this. I have a job. Thank God I have a job.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm doing all of this on my own time for free. It does not bother me at all because I'm doing it to help people. And a lot of people are. But again, like I said, $16 billion for schools and instruction, $5 billion for operations. That's for our paras and everything else. Yes. So again, that's $21 billion, not this $41 billion that everybody says is for our budget. People really need to look into that and stop falling for that talking point.
Everyone has a talking point. You don't know who to believe. You can't believe certain people that wear red hats because they lie all the time. And it's like with this mayoral race that we have right now, it's like we believe in the Zoran. We are focused on him and we're focused on getting a new wave in here. But even that part, I don't want the talking points. I want you to actually do something. I want you to actually put the money into our communities and not leave us high and dry. Because one of the things that we've seen with politicians is they will talk to you all day long, but when they get in office, they change up. They switch it up, right? You know that you already in office. You know what time it is. And so we got to make sure we hold these people accountable. And thank you for being accountable. And thank you for bringing those stats. It's very important. I believe we can put all this money into building and things that don't matter. Give it to the kids. They're the next generation. We have to have prevention programs, community centers, just so many fundamental things. Kids should be getting free lunch. There should be no child in New York City who does not get free lunch. I don't know if it's free.
They all get free lunch. Yes. In New York City, they all get free lunch. They all get free lunch in New York City.
Good.
We need to improve the quality of some of these lunches because I'm going to be honest with you, I've eaten in some of the schools. There is a difference between the quality of the meals that the kids are getting.
It depends on where it is, what neighborhood it's in?
Yes.
And that's not fair. It's
not. It's definitely not. But they do all get free lunch.
And they give summer meals too, right? They give the summer bags and people can come get food, which is important.
At some schools during the summer, they can come pick up lunches. They do a good job of advertising which schools will be the sites for picking up lunches. Adults can go in there too, but not the same time the kids go, not some of the time, not the same buildings. You know what I mean? We got to keep the baby safe. But yes, you can pick up lunches.
That's really good. Let's switch the conversation. You spoke about the ICE and people having mixed statuses. What is the plan for, say, for instance, Mondami doesn't get in office and we get a whole nother and the troops are coming and they're sending them in. Is there a plan in place for these families? Because one of the things I've noticed working with these college students, there are a lot of undocumented people. There's so many, especially in Queens. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised in New York. I'm like, for us who are from America, we don't realize that it is an issue. We do have a broken immigration problem, but the way that's going about is horrendous. It's inhumane. It's not of God. They say they're Christians, but we know they're not. Is there a plan in place for these students to help them?
So let's be honest. There is a plan. There is guidance out there. Our Chancellor, Aviles Ramos, she has said numerous times that she stands with our immigrant community. They have given directives to principals and teachers on what they are supposed to do, who they can and cannot let into the school. They have to have like a warrant. Like she has had the guidance out there. Unfortunately, we know we are dealing with humans, human beings. Some of the principals, what if their personal beliefs are different? What if they don't enforce it? But she is the chancellor and she said that they are going to do what they are supposed to do for these vulnerable communities. But our parents are scared. They are, especially in my district, in District 30. Like I said, we have a lot of families who have mixed status households. We just did our council, our CEC. We just did Know Your Rights resource fair Stand Against ICE. One of our council members that represents the geographic area in Western Queens, Council Member Tiffany Caban. She's part of the Progressive Caucus for New York City council members. And they organized that, and our Community Education Council participated. We had a booth, a table there where we gave out information from the Legal Society for advanced planning for non-citizen parents. So they would have resources on who to put on their school's emergency contact form, who to designate as someone that could pick the kids up from school, on that blue card. We also talked about standby guardianship. So we gave, here's a document. We gave these out to people so they could get these process started, especially with standby guardianship. Is very important because if you are picked up by ICE during the school day and there's nobody to pick your child up, this is important because you can prevent your child from going into the foster care system by having a standby guardian come and get them. So these
I wouldn't even think about that. That's a lot.
A lot of our parents are very concerned about that.
I didn't even think about that. Wow, the foster care. I mean, if nobody picks up your child, they have to take them to.
They got to take them somewhere.
Wow, this is a serious issue that's going on in our school system. I was talking to a friend yesterday in Georgia, and she was saying a couple of her kids, their parents got taken away and deported, and they can't. They don't know where they are. So this is a real life situation, and hopefully I thank New York for standing up and standing by the immigrants, because immigrants are really the backbone of New York. You can't run a city without. It will be nobody. It'll just be me and you. If people really, truly, and I mean on all sides, white, black, whatever you are. It's not even that. It's on all sides. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that, for letting us know that. How do you find the motivation to keep doing this for free? How do you, because people get paid. Listen, I got another job. I got a lot of jobs, and we're not getting paid right now. And other people in Congress are. So, how do you get, but they get paid. How do you find the resilience to say, I'm going to fight for my community and do what I need to do? Because I'm going to say this from a theology standpoint, from a godly standpoint, you are blessed. And if you and your family, you are blessed. So that's a part of it. But tell me why.
Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Because I know there were people who looked out for me for free. And that is how I am where I am today. Yeah. And, just my personal story. Yes, I did grow up very poor in rural Georgia, but a lot of people don't know this. My father is from the Virgin Islands. My father is from the Virgin Islands. My parents were never married. So they were always separate. I had a separate life when I was with my father, my twin. Thank God I have a twin. Thank God I had somebody else to go through this with, because Jesus Christ, Lord, thank God I had a praying grandmother. My mother's mother, look, Mary and Shepherd Thomas kept us in the church, but I had a praying grandmother. And thank God I had a twin sister to go through this with. My father's family is very affluent. They're very affluent. So I had a foot in each world. But when I went home to Georgia, I was poor. It's very poor. But when I was with my father, I got to see how people with influence and power and means got to walk through the world. So it's very different when you have a foot in each world. And I think that is what helped me when I went back to Georgia, because I was able to use the same arguments and have the same points and access and conversations to defend myself and advocate for myself as an affluent person was. They didn't know they were going to hear that from me. They thought they were talking to someone who was ignorant, who could not articulate an argument. They thought I was a child they could easily dismiss. But my father's father, my grandfather, he was very affluent, and he had a lot of pull in the Democratic Party in the Virgin Islands. Really? When my grandfather died, the governor of the Virgin Islands wrote in his funeral program. He was a delegate for the United States Virgin Islands for Jimmy Carter. He was the one that cast the vote for Jimmy Carter to have the Democratic nomination. So these are things that people did not know about me when they counted me out. I remember being a child and I had a teacher tell me I was a liar because I told her I spent my summer in the U.S. Virgin Islands on St. Croix. Who am I? I live in the projects in Canton. I live 1300 Oakside Drive in Oakside apartments in the projects. You're a liar. So for me, having people help me go through the public school system. I'm still in touch with my high school teacher, Miss Jolene Render. She's my soror too. One of the reasons why I am an AKA. Okay. Who wrote letters for me to get scholarships. That's why I was on a full academic scholarship at Clark Atlanta.
Really? And that's hard. That's a hard scholarship to get.
Full academic scholarship.
That's good.
Because if I didn't have people help me and advocate for me and help me get in rooms, I would probably still be, on my father's side, I had help, but I probably would still be in Cherokee County, not where I'm at today. So for me, I know if you have a voice and you have the access and you can help people, you should do it, because I know that was what was done for me. And all I can do is pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Pay it forward. That's really good. I have a couple more questions. I don't want to take up too much of your time. That's a powerful point. It's important for us to keep giving back and keep paying forward. And we appreciate the work that you're doing. Why are HBCUs so important? We mentioned Clark Atlanta a couple times, and you got a full academic ride. And I didn't know that. Did your sister get one too?
She partial. But I'm not going to visit the street.
You gonna probably be, girl, why are you saying that? What was that experience like for you? And why was it so important to be at CAU?
Okay, so like I told you, I grew up in Cherokee County, around metropolitan Atlanta. I was tired of always being othered and discounted. Or like, oh, well, of course, they would just make excuses. Well, of course you got in this class because they have to pick 2 Black people, 2 or 3, and you're one of them. And I was like, no, I'm smarter than you. I'm smarter than you. And I got tired of that. And I was like, I'm going to go where I'm no longer the minority. I want to be around Black people. And I think HBCUs will always have a purpose in this country because they teach you of the history you should be aware of.
Yeah.
I remember being a little girl and I told my teacher, I was in 2nd grade. She said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a doctor and I want to run for president. That woman laughed in my face. Told me, well, you have a good shot of being a doctor, but a president, I don't think a Black woman's ever run for president. She told me that. That this was what, the early 90s?
90s.
Ma'am, you're wrong. Shirley Chisholm ran for president.
Absolutely.
Shirley Chisholm she was the first Black woman to run for the Democratic nomination. And I looked at her. Now, at the time, I'm a little kid, I didn't know that, but I went home and told my grandmama that night. I'm not going to use the word my grandmama used when she called that lady a name. Because, this on Sunday. We can imagine. And she said, you tell that Shirley Chisholm ran for president and she Black, and how she going to be your teacher if she don't know history? So I learned a lot of those things at HBCU, more history, even more. I mean, come on. We know Lift Every Voice and Sing. I grew up singing that. I didn't know it was the Black national anthem. I just thought we sang that at church. So, you learn your history, you learn so much more. You become aware of what our people overcame, what we've invented, where we've led the pack. And you also learn that Black people's story in this country. Yes, we had struggle, but guess what? We've had victories too. Phil, we went to school with people whose parents were CEOs.
We went to school with a lot. Listen, when I got to Atlanta, I grew up in Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff was a mixed kind of, you had poor Black, it was all kind of things. But when I got to Atlanta, I was like, oh, these some rich Black folk. I was like, these people, it was generations. It's something you had never seen before. And it was all of us. It was what Black people are in America. We're not a monolith. We are all different statuses and all different colors and creeds. And it was just a powerful moment. It was a powerful moment being in that situation. And I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful to have met you there. You always kind and cool too. So
you too, Phil.
I appreciate it. Liz, this is a final question for you. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self?
I would give myself some lottery numbers. No, I'm kidding. I will do that. But right? No, I would tell myself, believe in yourself sooner. Become more confident sooner. And learn the difference between people who genuinely want to be your friend and who genuinely care for you, instead of people who are curious of who you are and how you got where you are. There's a difference. There is a difference, because people that care about you, they support you regardless. People who are curious about you, they just want to know how you got where you got.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, you have been inspiring and powerful. What else can we look out for you? What should we call your office? How do we get in contact with you? And I'll put it at the bottom of the screen too on YouTube so people can contact you.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about anything education related, especially to help, I have an email address. I use it for my community education council business, like anything I do that way. And when I say business, I mean in service of that. It's not a business. I don't make money from it, but in service of helping you. It's Toussaint, whitney.cec@gmail. That's what I use. If you want to look at my council's website, we are working on improving it, but it is www.cec30.org. And we do a lot of work. I'm proud of my new council. I was reelected. I'm serving as co-president. My co-president, Victoria, she is Latina. I am Black.
Good.
To my knowledge, we are the first Black and Latina co-presidents. I don't know if there are any other in the city, but she helps me with my Spanish speaking families. Absolutely. And we work very well together. So we are, our council as a whole, we are stronger. We need one more borough president appointee to have a full council, but we are doing the work for District 30. And I am just so proud of how we are fighting for our most marginalized communities.
Thank you for fighting for the least of these. I believe that is our purpose. We have a goal. We have a mission. We have an assignment from the Lord. Yes. And I think you are on your assignment. I appreciate you, my sister. Hold tight for me in the break. Thank you so much. All right. Mm-hmm. I want to thank Whitney Thomas Toussaint for coming live on air today. Listen, keep fighting for yourself, believe in yourself, and keep fighting for the students of New York City. I'll see you next time. You're watching Phil and Friends right here on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.